That's my answer.
Good morning. I might have to turn on another light. This grow light is way too funky. Just to even it out a little bit. Good morning. I feel like I should speak extra quietly this morning because it's like 5 in the morning, something like that. I woke up at 4:30 or something. Couldn't really get back to sleep. I was feeling a little bit sick the last couple of days. Just a little sniffly, you know. You'll probably hear it in my voice a little bit. I think I'm better, but it's weird to wake up so early, and it's funny because I want to be waking up earlier, going for runs. I'm going to go for a run with Sophie this morning. I haven't seen her in like 2 weeks, so that'll be nice. But I woke up thinking about all the stuff I got to do. And not in the sense that like I have a lot of work going on. I'm really excited to finally have the guide is almost ready for you. For those of you that were asking about it, thank you, I'm excited. By the time you see this, theoretically, borders are opening. So if you're vaccinated and you come from one of the amber or yellow countries, we've got a stoplight system going, you should be welcome back into the country. I wrote about that a little bit for my newsletter because it's a little bit weird and it feels really, 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 really unreal. Like it doesn't feel like it's actually happening. But how exciting that it might be. There's a lot of mixed emotions about all of this. And I've been trying to get the guide ready for a little bit of an update, obviously, and I'll make a little video about it here when it is ready, along with a couple of extras, some stuff that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and, then COVID. But what I woke up thinking about wasn't that. It wasn't even about the mountain of work that I've created for myself with Secret Project number 2. It's actually decisions. Feeling like I understand where I need to go from here and how to get there better than I had before. And I thought maybe I'd explain a little bit about that because even though I can't share exactly the details of what's going on, it might be helpful to talk a little bit about the ongoing process of making decisions, especially when you feel like you've jumped in the deep end head first and you really have no idea what it is you're doing. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of that work done right now. I've got some communication I got to do, blah, blah, blah. But let's go for a run. Enjoy is it overcast? I was going to say, enjoy a little bit of a sunrise in Paris, but I'm going to get out a little bit early. The plan was to meet Sophie on this end of the river. I'm going to meet her on her end instead. And then let's get into the day. And hopefully stay conscious for all of it because I'm up way too early. I forgot my tripod, so, running footage is going to be a little bit of a premium today. Come on, you're running with him.
Hop on.
I would. I'm waiting for Sophie. Have a good run, guys. Woo. Hey, Dan.
Hi, guys!
Adios, Maria.
You're going the wrong way.
Oh man, more and more people I know keep running by. I'm running just a little late for coffee with my new buddy Kiana. I met Kiana through through a running group through mutual contacts. She seems super cool. She's lovely. She's a TikToker. There's so little I know about TikTok, to be honest. I started using TikTok a little bit and just haven't committed. And I'm tempted to come back to it. And we'll see if she can convince me to come back to it. But then I have other friends who have told me not to do it. It goes back and forth. You just gotta do what you love, I suppose, at the end of the day. And that brings us, I suppose, to a little bit about how we go about making decisions. How I go about making decisions, because I've had some big decisions to make this last week. And talking to friends has been a really big part of the process. I'm gonna fast forward through this part because I just need to I need to leave. And turn the fan on to help accelerate the drying process. I'm debating riding the bike. I'm not feeling it for two reasons. One, I didn't get any sleep and just ran 8 miles. And two, so that's an energy reason. And the other reason, I still don't have a lock. I need to get a lock. I really would rather ride the bike. Let's give riding the bike a try. We'll figure the lock thing out as we go. So thoughts on this bike so far? I think my only real complaints, well, it'll be interesting to do a full rundown of everything. The main thing is speed. I go a lot slower on this bike. I know that it says 22 right now. That's because we're kind of like on a gentle downhill slope. But on the Van Moof, I would average like 28. The only time I go that fast is when I'm going downhill. And this guy, I feel like I'm averaging closer to 18. So that's a pretty big difference in speed, as well as the fact that the gears don't seem to do a whole lot on this bike. And there are 7 of them, but they still can't ramp up. Doesn't really mean any added speed. Like even when going downhill, I feel like I've got less power. Still comfy. The other benefit is that I think it makes me a more relaxed and responsible driver. So, you know, if I can't speed around as easily, might as well just take my time. It definitely feels slower, but the range on this battery, like I've come into town I think 3 times now, not even halfway through the battery yet, so definitely wins on that competition, and it still works, so that's also a bonus. Anyways, I think I beat her here, which is a surprise because I'm like a few minutes late, but I haven't had coffee yet. I can use my first coffee. The main thing on the decisions front has been conversations with people who at least have some idea of what they're talking about as compared to my no idea of what I'm talking about within particular domains. Within a lot of domains, actually. Turns out I don't know a lot about a lot of things. And even, I mean, obviously trying to do my research and learn as much as I can, and I'm always, you know, digging in and trying to learn something that can be useful in the future, which is good because it's paying off because I'm not totally at a loss for a lot of these things, but being able to run those ideas, strategies, thoughts of how to proceed by people who, you know, have been there, makes a huge difference, both in the validation that you get for like being like, oh, okay, this was a good idea, pursuing this is a good idea, whatever, and also the challenges that come back at you where people are like, that sounds like a terrible thing. Why are you going to do that? Don't do that. Why would you do that? So I'm really grateful for both within the same context of conversations, and it's exciting because there's a lot of enthusiasm. I'm lucky to have met and talked to some very enthusiastic people about what's going on, and it's also thrown its own curveballs. Like, how do you manage that enthusiasm? How do you encourage people in that? How do you include people in what you're doing in the wisest and best way possible? I don't know. Figuring it out, hopefully. Figuring it out. I might not do the best job at it as I go, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Hit me with your best shot. I need my coffee. Where is she? Right when I was losing faith and hope in caffeine. Hola. I headed off. Have you been here before?
No.
Oh, I love this place.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's great. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a quick question. I don't know if this is, I was gonna do it. I already mentioned that you were a world famous talk ticker. How do you make
Yeah, it's okay.
a talk tick?
How do you make a TikTok?
I just wanted to see if I could get you to stumble.
How do you make a TikTok?
What? Yeah. Well, so because the thing is, what I already said too, for context, was that most of my, especially my YouTube friends, have yelled at me not to get on TikTok. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious about your take on it because I know that it's been a different experience for you.
Right. I'm the opposite. I started on TikTok and now I'm like getting into YouTube and like longer forms. The way to make a TikTok is to pretend you don't have any audience and make what you want. And if you get an audience from that, great. But if you don't lose anything. So make videos about your life, the things that you like, your day, and see who likes it and see what happens. If it blows up and you become a famous Addison Rae top ticker, amazing. If you don't, you have nothing to lose. It's free.
That was phenomenal advice.
Really?
Yeah, that's really good advice.
Okay, good.
That's exactly what I would tell somebody if they were going to make YouTube videos.
Right. You make it on what you want.
Go give her a follow. Check it out. That's another American in Paris perspective. That's not the fantasy version.
No.
I'm not gonna get into that today, but you know what I mean. But now I need a lock for this bike so I don't have to sit right next to it and babysit it in the future. It's good, but it's making a weird little noise. Yeah.
So user error.
Probably.
Yeah, or whoever put it together, I think.
Yeah, also. Blame both. Now to figure out how exactly I'm gonna put this. I think that works. Oh man, there's literally no line. This is a miracle. A Christmas miracle. Is that the cat's chin or is it smiling?
How insensitive can we be to French culture by putting just a blatantly...
Is that a beret or is that a Santa hat that just flopped over? I'm not sure what's going on.
The colors contribute
all I was
a
going to
lot.
ask you is, should I do TikTok?
That's my answer.
The funny thing is that it isn't even in the midst of these conversations that I'm necessarily making decisions. In fact, like, it's in the midst of the conversations that often it feels a little bit overwhelming. Like, well, not about TikTok. I may or may not actually get into TikTok. I played with it a little bit, and I think that there are reasons to get into it, for sure. Like, real ones. I'll talk about that later. But take advantage of the fact that I can take this off because I'm standing by my bike now. It's in the midst of the conversations about, like, bigger things that I feel like you feel tugged or pulled or pushed in different directions. And ultimately, as a result, like it all kind of works itself out in the subconscious. And I think that's part of the reason I woke up at 4:30 this morning. Like, I just woke up, was thinking about some unpleasant things right out of the bat because that's how it always works. But in the process, my brain was settling into a couple of decisions about how to proceed with things that just kind of got me out of bed to start working on them. And that was good. But I don't think it would have happened if I hadn't been able to talk about it more. And that's kind of a new experience to some degree. Obviously we have phones and so forth, but being able to have face-to-face conversations especially, I wasn't able to do that for a long time thanks to the pandemic. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of, both the overwhelming nature of being able to see each other face-to-face again, and I don't know, maybe it's just a moment that a lot of neurons are firing at the right time. Not so much right now because I'm like ready to take a nap, but otherwise. I took a nap because and it was dangerous too. It was a power nap. It was good, but borderline. Anyways, I survived thanks to today's patron producer, Debbie Hogshead. Or Hogshead? I think it's Hogshead. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. I hope that your avatar has like a knight in shining armor with like a hog-shaped helmet. That makes sense. I need to get some sleep. Anyways, thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you very much for being here. And I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll come back tomorrow or whenever for more of this incoherent nonsense. And I'll see you then for that. I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight and it'll all be fine tomorrow. It'll all be fine. See you tomorrow for the fineness.